Happy Monday. Welcome to another sneak preview. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Killer.
And today we're discussing the long-awaited Hercule Poirot adventure, Death on the Nile, Kenneth Branagh's second Agatha Christie-based murder mystery. This one is fairly polarizing, as I am a fan of Christie's work. You are not, as you've made painfully clear. Can't wait to debate the merits of the classic whodunit.
We'll debate, even though, as I was saying before we recorded, our negatives line up. We just had different scores, but our negatives line up on this movie, I noticed.
Yeah, fair enough. But first, let's take a look at what happened last week in film. Last week in film. Got 4 big trailers to start with today. First up, the full trailer for Pixar's Lightyear, starring Chris Evans, everyone's favorite space ranger. It's theaters June 17th. I'm all in at this point. I'm excited. I think it's a cool, creative idea, and I'm looking forward to this. But I know you have reservations, so let's hear them.
Yeah, I'm so reserved about this, just in the sense that, like, I know, like, they definitely had Zurg in the trailer. They just didn't say it, but it looked like Zurg. It's Zurg. At the same time, it still stands that, like, it's telling a story that I don't particularly really care for. And who knows? It could be like the show. I know they had a show, Buzz Lightyear, Shark Man, when I watched it as a kid, and it could be just like that and be just as fun and amazing. I think it was Patrick Warburton that actually voiced Buzz in that show. That's actually how I knew him for Family Guy. And with this, I don't know. I'm just of the mind that, like, you had a perfect trilogy with Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. And, like, I didn't hate 4, but I also didn't like it as much as I did the first 3. And it still felt like a movie that, like, I could have lived without having. And it's kind of like the same feeling with this. I feel like it's going to be good. I'll probably like it. I'll probably somehow end up liking it, but still be saying, going, I don't need this. Like, just let the franchise alone. Like, it's okay. You had a perfect trilogy and 2 fun specials. I watched the Halloween special and they did another one. I'm cautious on this movie. I'm not completely against it. I'm cautious.
Fair enough. I think it's going to be a monster hit. Probably lead to a sequel and a new franchise.
Yeah. I know.
And I'm okay with that. I like Chris Evans. I like, and I know that, like, it's not, Tim Allen isn't voicing the character because of, like, political differences, because he's doing a Santa Claus show with Disney. So they're still working together. So I think that, like, the intent was to go younger on Buzz Lightyear. So I like that it's not like a animosity situation,
So the whole Tim Allen thing never bugged me, because, again, I watched that show and it wasn't Tim Allen voicing him in the show. It was Patrick Warburton. So, like, it's never bothered me that they got Chris Evans to do the voice, because, again, the story they're going for anyway is that this is the actual Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based off of. So it makes sense to just go ahead and get someone else to voice Buzz.
Wonder if this, like, what if this was like a live action movie?
I kind of would be more against it, actually, because I'm, like, really tired of, like, I've always thought I feel about Disney's, like, live action and their cartoons right now and the quality of their output. So I'd actually probably be more against it, because I'm so against what they're doing with that right now.
It's understandable. It's not original content. It's, beating a dead horse, but sometimes the dead horse spits out money.
In Disney's case, it always spits out money.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll see. June 17th. I'm excited to talk about it. Maybe we'll do some Toy Story shit on our other shows that week. Who knows?
We're not doing anything on Beyond the Bed, because none of those films qualify for Beyond the Bed remotely.
I think the only Pixar we could do is, like, Cars 2.
What about Finding Dory? I thought that one got pretty polarizing.
No, that one was that's got like a 96% billion-dollar success. Like, that was a big hit.
I was out to see when that film came out, so I wasn't aware of that.
It was actually really good. Finding Dory was really good.
That's what I need to watch it one day. I'm trying to think.
I know The Good Dinosaur wasn't a big success, but it was reviewed pretty fairly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like even though they're not big successes, get reviewed pretty fairly. I really think maybe Monsters University actually might be in that running. I'm not sure.
It might be. I haven't looked into that. That's one of the few Pixars I still haven't seen. But maybe. We'll look into it. Next up, the Hulu original horror film No Exit, which arrives on the streaming service on February 25th. And this looks interesting. A lady leaves rehab to go see her dying mother, ends up stranded in a visitor center during a snowstorm with a bunch of suspicious characters. And in the parking lot is a van with a kidnapped girl in it. So somebody here has kidnapped this girl, and the film is whodunit. So definitely intriguing.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. I really like the idea. Looks like it'll be fun. Hulu's track record, I think, of all the streamers tends to be of the big three. I'm not including like Shudder and HBO Max and all of them. I feel like they actually tend to be a little bit stronger, even though like I know I've kind of had issues with prior Hulu original films. I still think overall they're stronger a lot more times than Netflix and Prime because they do less films, so they seem to put a lot more fucking care into the ones that they do come out with. And this one actually looked pretty good. And I mean, with that said, I saw the Netflix 2022 movie preview fucking trailer they did, and it looks like they're actually kind of bringing up the big guns this year. It looks like we might be getting some actual fucking quality Netflix films finally.
Probably around the fall. I agree.
Probably, yeah. Like, what was it, that movie that came out, the one they advertised, the Adam Project, that actually does not look terrible. Even I was like, this doesn't look that bad, actually. But yeah, this one looks interesting. I'll definitely be tuning in for No Exit. I'm kind of curious on that one.
Yeah, me too. Next up, did not know this was coming out this year, but I'm super excited. The remake of Stephen King's Firestarter, which hits theaters and Peacock on May 13th. I didn't realize they were this far along in production. I thought this was probably coming out next year. So this is very exciting. This looks fantastic. Very on point with the book. And I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I heard the trailers. I was like, what the fuck? So I thought, honestly, because they got announced around the same time as the Christine remake. And I thought, like, oh, okay, they're probably going to come out, like, the same, like you said, next year, around the same time. I mean, they got announced relatively close together. And then I know, like, hey, we got Firestarter. Like, here's the trailer. I was like, that surprised me. And then the fact that they're going both theatrical and streaming, which doesn't seem, so many of them are adamant that it's just theatrical this year. And I'm like, bold move, okay. And then the other thing and this was more like I guess an age thing, right? When I first heard about this movie, they had cast Zac Efron as like the dad. I'm like, why would you cast Zac Efron as a dad? Like, the guy's young. And then when like I'm watching the trailer and I'm looking at his age, I'm like, ah, shit, he is actually old enough now to be. I'm like, God damn it.
Zac Efron got old.
I'm like, no, Troy, no. High School Musical, you're way out of this situation.
I think this looks really cool. I'm excited to see the capabilities of this kind of story with modern day visual effects and the fact that they cast a Native American actor as the Native American villain, John Rainbird. That's a big selling point for me because, it was George C. Scott with black hair in the 80s, which was fucking disgraceful. So this is all pointing in the right direction for Firestarter. So bring it on.
Yeah, and it's I think it's Blumhouse that's doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm in on this one. I haven't seen the original one yet. So, but I mean, with this coming out, I will now. But I'm in. It looks really, really good. I know like some people were worried like the Stephen King Renaissance was like fading because of like the 1-2 punch of Pet Sematary and then It Chapter 2 for a lot of people. But I don't think it's fading. I don't think that remotely phased it at all, because this tells me that it is still in full swing and we're getting some interesting stuff.
Oh, we're getting, a Salem's Lot sequel later this year, I believe.
Yep.
I think
we're producing.
Yep, very excited for that. Any, Renaissance is going to have some blips. There's going to be some bad ones. Not everything's going to be perfect, but it's going to be worth it for the masterpieces we're going to get. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to be in this kind of rejuvenation of Stephen King's work. And you know, I'm going to take it a film at a time and just see what happens.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to watch this, see what it says. I'm patiently, with all my power of patience, waiting to see the trailer finally pop up for Salem's Lot, because I'm very curious on that one. I've been pretty stoked when they announced. I was like, ooh. And when James Wan was attached to produce, I'm like, okay, let's bring this on.
Salem's Lot's a scary fucking book, and I don't think it's been done right on the small screen yet.
Well,
so this is going to be. I have high hopes for Salem's Lot.
yeah. Well, and apparently the show on Epix, that Chapelwaite, is based off the prequel short story. Apparently, it's like really good, and it got renewed for season 2. So apparently, this is like the year of like Salem's Lot material.
I never cared for the Jerusalem Lot story. I always thought it was King trying too hard to be like Lovecraft and not, you know, using his own voice.
Concerning the season 2, I think they expand well off that fucking story to keep it going.
Maybe. I mean, you throw King's name on anything, I'm gonna watch it. So, you know, we'll see. Finally, the trailer for Jurassic World Dominion, which is being billed as the epic franchise conclusion. Original stars Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum are joining Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard in what looks like a wonderful dinosaur adventure. It's theaters June 10th. And as soon as I saw Sam Neill, I was like, God damn, this is going to be good. I was just like, he looks great. The beard, the glow up, like this is like Alan Grant is back to fight some dinosaurs. Like I'm psyched.
Yeah, I sent this trailer actually to my parent, like my mom. As soon as I was like, "Hey, look at this trailer," and she, when I was talking to her earlier, she was like, "Dr. Grant, like he's aged well. He's looking good." She's like, "I haven't seen him." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm pretty sure like he does his movies and then like goes home." And I was like, "I want to say Sam Neill's like he's British, right? He's not
I think he's Irish.
I'm about to say he's not American.
No.
I know that. Not like I know nowadays when you say that, you sound like a fucking one of those, you know, crazy conspiracy guy. I just mean as like he wasn't born in fucking America.
I'm gonna confirm it right now. Let's see. Sam
Neill.
Yeah,
I don't want to sound like an ass, but I'm pretty sure
he's Northern Irish.
Okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's literally the type like he does his films and he goes home. Like he doesn't really stick with the Hollywood limelight, which power to him. But to a point, yeah, absolutely. Like I remember when I saw all 3 of them, I'm like, it's so good to see him back. And yeah, I was like, Dr. Grant. Yeah, it just like as soon as I saw the beard, and I was like, that's fucking Dr. Grant. He is back. He's aged incredibly well. Good for him.
Yeah. Staying away from dinosaur, you know, mistakes has made him age well, as opposed to like, you know, I don't know, like John Hammond, who's dead.
I was about to say, you can't say Goldblum because he's honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, no, Goldblum looks like a silver fox too. Like who? Everyone looks great. Who can I? Damn it.
Yeah. I personally really enjoyed Jurassic World. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought Fallen Kingdom was good, not as good as World. But I know like a lot of people that fucking just despise that one. I still had a lot of fun with it. I thought like the approach to a more dark tone was fun, and like I thought the dinosaur villain was creepy. So I liked it overall. This one just has me stoked. I know Lost World already had fucking dinosaurs on the mainland, but it was for 15 minutes. It wasn't a whole movie. Like I know that
Lost World had dinosaur on the mainland.
Yeah. So, I like, but this movie, the species is back. It's established in the trailer. It's been years actually from the second film, so it's like we've lived with them for years in this ward, right? So that aspect's really exciting to me, and seeing like the balance. Humans essentially have to fight for survival now because the balance is shifted because you can't control fucking dinosaurs. Like they used to be the apex fucking predator of this planet. Like,
imagine living in a world where like on your way to work, you could get swooped up by a fucking pterodactyl. Like that's a legit problem that you have to figure out how to avoid.
Just going to the grocery store, you have to worry if like a velociraptor is going to fucking kill you. Like,
reminds me of that Louis C.K. bit where like he was going to work and then like a panther showed up and he's like, oh shit, just something you got to deal with.
Yeah. Right, and I've seen Lost World. They can fucking break through a mirror, a window. So if you think you're safe in your home, apparently no.
There's got to be somebody making a mint selling like anti-dinosaur home security systems. That's like the big product in this future.
Can you imagine? God, can you imagine people that like to hunt in this world? Like,
I wonder if that's going to come up. There's got to be a character who's like a big game hunter. He's got like a T-Rex skull in his living room.
Has to. And this is not me trying to be a PS. I'm from Texas. I have nothing against hunting, but I'm just saying, like, for those that like want to go out hunting, there's like you have to worry about like again a raptor, a fucking T-Rex, or insert any goddamn predatory dinosaur in there. Hell, we saw it with the guys that were just trying to crab fish with the monsters. I'm like, God damn, like, yeah, that world looks horrendous to live in.
I wonder what the who's the bad guy going to be? What's going to be the conflict of the movie? I'm excited. I'm glad they're kind of keeping us in the dark on this one.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's what I'm curious on. If it's established that we've lived in so long, what is the inciting event for this movie to get all these characters back? What's going on? I'm really excited. Seeing the old characters was fucking wonderful. And I mean, you know how much I love the original Jurassic Park. So like the kid in me just got really, really happy seeing the 3 cast members back and seeing them at the end of the trailer when they're mixed with the new cast members. And he says the line, "Don't move." And then I love Grant. Is it me or I forget who I watched earlier, and they're like, "Is it me or did they get bigger?"
I think what I'm most excited about is to see Dr. Grant get to interact with a docile velociraptor, get to kind of learn to communicate with Blue, because they're going to do that. Grant's obsession with raptors is going to extend to Blue, and that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. And it looks like the dinosaur action in the city is going to be really exciting too. It really does. Like the stuff they're showing, like Chris Pratt on the motorcycle running from the like raptors like that. It looks like they are going to definitely use set pieces to their advantage.
Yeah, for sure. So Colin Trevorrow is returning to direct. He did Jurassic World. Then this like shit movie called The Book of Henry, lost a Star Wars movie, and now he's back to Jurassic World. So interesting career this dude's had so far. But dinosaurs seems to be his forte. So bring it on.
I was about to say, yeah, like weird how he got back into it, but considering how much I like Jurassic World, and he's going back to do this one to finish it off, that fills me with hope. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be like how Abrams came back for fucking episode 9.
So it's being billed. The trailer said like the thrilling conclusion. Do you buy that?
No, they've already said that don't. They've already talked about that before the trailer even released. It's already been discussed. I forgot to tell you.
I don't know.
Bloody Disgusting. One of the producers came out and said like, yes, this is the end of this like era. This is what we're telling here, but we're already planning ahead for future films. We're already thinking about what to do next.
So conclusion is bullshit. Okay, gotcha.
It's conclusion to this era.
Sure. Okay.
And they keep saying conclusion to the Jurassic era. So I'm like, are you going to fucking rename it? So we name it if you try to be like Triassic Park, I'm like, shut up. Fuck off.
I'll watch the shit out of Triassic Park just to see what the fuck it is.
Like that's the porno version.
Oh my God. I figured Jurassic Pork would be the porno version, but
Triassic.
It's just nothing but 3 ways.
Exactly. Someone's dressed up as like a fucking raptor for no reason.
There's a reason. It's a dino porno. What do you mean no reason?
A raptor with a dick. But the dick is very clearly human.
We're getting off topic here.
It's like this Family Guy one that exists. Or no, it was an American Dad where someone was like dressed up as Roger.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, the dick wasn't painted.
That was so fucking weird.
It was really distracting. I won't lie.
Dude, for me, it was like the fucking eyes. It was like a stitched on, like one eye's looking over there, one eye's looking over here. It was so fucking lazy. Anyway, Jurassic World Dominion, June, what was it? June 10th. Gonna be a cool June. We got Lightyear, we got Jurassic World, we got whatever the hell else is coming out in June.
Isn't that Juneteenth or whatever? Isn't that when that holiday hits now?
I don't know.
it's a brand new, well, it's been a holiday, but it's brand new recognized federal holiday, so I forget.
Yeah, I don't. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the day it falls on, but thank you for throwing that out. So I look ignorant. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
In all honesty, yeah, I don't know, but I know it's going to be a cool June on many different levels.
All of the levels.
Yeah. That's all for trailers. Now for some casting news. Something I know that's going to make you super happy. Dane DeHaan has joined the cast of Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Including DeHaan, the cast of this biopic now includes Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Josh Hartnett, Benny Safdie, and Rami Malek. Its current release date is July 21st, 2023. God damn, is that an amazing cast?
The cast is amazing. The idea of this movie is legitimately interesting. It's literally just Nolan and his childish antics.
No.
And the fact that nothing that Universal cannot release, by the way, anything 6 weeks before or after when this film comes out.
I thought it was 3 weeks.
Or 3 weeks, whatever. Some ridiculous number.
6 weeks is fucking insane. That's 2 months.
3 weeks is insane. 3 weeks is insane. Don't try to say like 3 weeks is not insane either.
I'm not saying 3 weeks is reasonable, but I'm saying 6 weeks is psychotic. But
it's the names are psychotic, but yeah.
It is weird that I don't agree with that. But on the other hand, this is shaping up to be a very interesting movie with an amazing cast I really want to see.
I'm really hoping like a different studio can release something bigger that we do. Or that someone else on the Filmgazm team wants to watch that movie. So I can stand by my more standing of not promoting his films at the theaters.
Marvel needs to like throw like Blade or something into that weekend.
I would love if like DC has like a really strong year this year, so they get cocky and throw something to one of their films on that.
DC and Marvel both release big stuff before and after Oppenheimer, just to sandwich him in and fuck him up.
I would love if like Marvel's been taking track of all the directors that keep speaking badly about them. They're like, all right, we'll just wait for your movie to come out.
Picturing Feige having like a meeting with Jeff Johns and being like, look, he's gonna come after you next. Like, we got a limited window here. I hate you as much as you hate me, but let's do this together.
We know when their films are coming out.
That would be amazing.
I would laugh. I'll say this: if I get stuck having to see this film and have to betray my morals, at the very least, I can start Emily Blunt on the big screen, and my crush runs deep for Emily Blunt.
I'm gonna try to find some pirated, shitty video camera version of it, on some website, so you can watch it there.
I'll do it.
Don't have to actually give Nolan any money. We'll find a loophole.
I'm like, because that's the thing. It's not even that like I'm against seeing a Nolan movie. Like I'll one day, because I know it's on. I think it's on Max. I'm not sure. I'll watch his latest one. I think Tenet is what it was. Tenet, yeah.
Tenet.
I'll watch it, but I'm just like I said. I would prefer not to give my money at the theater just because of his antics and his attitude, and like you said, that just that vibe he had of like, my film's going to save cinema. Go fuck yourself, because apparently it wasn't your movie that people wouldn't see. It was Jackass Forever, you fucking prick. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I love that it was, it was Jackass, it was Spider-Man, it was Godzilla, it was Mortal Kombat. Like, nobody gave a fuck about Nolan's revolutionary film that was good, but it wasn't incredible. And even though, and I'm stretching it with good, it's a weird movie. You're gonna fucking hate it. Let's be honest, Eric.
I didn't really like Dunkirk. Like, I think his whole like non-linear storytelling method, it's getting out of hand. Like, it's getting to the point where it's like, I don't care about what I'm watching. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. It's like,
it's unfortunate. Well, Oppenheimer will be here before we know it, and then we'll talk about it on next year's batch. Russell Crowe has joined the cast of Sony and Marvel's Kraven the Hunter movie, alongside Aaron Taylor Johnson as Kraven. No word yet on who Crowe's playing. Maybe he's the bad guy. Maybe he's, I don't know, Kraven's dad or some shit. We'll see. But I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was a strange choice for Kraven the Hunter.
I still think it's a strange choice.
Yeah, but maybe we'll be wrong. I don't know.
I'm hoping, but the way they're handling Morbius like is really worrying me about Kraven. I know I joked with you last time because you keep always being like, I don't think this Marvel film's going to come out, or because they're not talking about it. And then like it's always funny because you say that, and then like usually not a week later. So the trailer for Shang-Chi drops. I'm like, what was that you said about?
Hey, in my defense, it was still weird. Stuff was still getting postponed. It made sense. I'm over that now, except for Avatar 2. I do think that's not coming out, but everything else is coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But it's just funny because you keep doing that, and then it's almost like they hear you like, oh no, we gotta show this asshole what's up, and we have to come out on time. So if anything, just keep saying it because that just means that you won't move it. It'll come out in January of 23, like it should.
Let's hope.
Because it was funny because I say that because I remember before they made this announcement, you were like, I haven't really heard anything about Kraven. I don't think it's happening. It's probably not even coming out on time. And then not a week later, Russell Crowe joins Kraven the Hunter. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. I'm not good at like reading the calendar. Okay, I admit that.
Really funny because it's always like time when you say something and then the exact opposite happens at some point in the future.
Well, I just hope Aaron Taylor Johnson beefs up and does justice to this character, one of the most beloved Spider-Man villains of all time. And I wonder it'd be cool if they like gave this to Tobey Maguire and turned it into a Kraven's Last Hunt movie for him. But that won't happen.
No. I know the most that's been rumored, confirmed, as I'm trying to come up with a name where it's like it's kind of confirmed, but it isn't. Was I know Charlie Cox was saying we haven't seen the end of him or Wilson Fisk in the MCU, which I mean I knew that anyone when you watch a show, people, if they don't show you that they are directly dead, that usually means they're alive. So all those are like, oh, they killed Wilson Fisk. How are they going to bring him back? You didn't see him get shot. You just heard the gunshot.
And this is the Kingpin. We literally saw him take a car to the chest 5 minutes prior and get up and walk away. You think a gun? You think a handgun's going to take down this motherfucker? No.
Yeah, a handgun shot off camera. Like, come on, you guys need to know movies and shows more, especially if you listen to this podcast. Like, if they don't show it, that means there's a fucking loophole to be used to keep them going.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Did you see that the Netflix Marvel shows are leaving Netflix in March? Probably going to Hulu.
Yes, I did.
Crazy. Netflix originals leaving Netflix.
Yeah, unprecedented times we're living in. Netflix is advertising a Netflix movie in the movie theaters. They keep seeing popping up trailers for the Adam Project.
Yeah, I know nothing about the Adam Project. I apparently missed this one.
It's a Ryan Reynolds star.
Oh.
And Mark Ruffalo and Jennifer Garner.
Okay.
Sean Levy. It's a Free Guy director.
Okay, I'm in.
It looks pretty good, actually. I was kind of like, okay, I'll check this one out.
Cool. This is interesting. Simu Liu, star of Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, has joined the cast of Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie alongside Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. It's written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, and it's fucking Barbie. The star power behind this thing is blowing my mind.
I know, right? And it's really like, look, like a lot of males and women, it's 2022. Margot Robbie's hot as fuck. And I want to watch anything she's in just to stare at her, honestly, 100%. But I don't know if I can do that for Barbie. Not much less do I really want them to even like remotely sexualize Barbie, because that would just feel weird. That would feel weird. I'd be sitting there going, this doesn't feel right.
Greta Gerwig's doing it, so they're not going to be sexualizing Barbie.
Okay,
it's good. About Barbie kind of finding her place in the world, I think, is what the plot synopsis said.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting cast or talent attached to this movie. And I'm like, why is all this attached to Barbie? But I mean, we were talking about on Jackass Forever, like the amount of like celebrity like talent and clout that likes those that film series, and those guys actually have. It's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, we apparently live in bizarre world sometimes.
Well, I'm sure, maybe the Barbie script is gold. I mean, the people writing it are fantastic writers. So
What if it's like an Oscar worthy script? Like it is like the best goddamn script written the entire year.
if Barbie wins best screenplay next year, I think I'm done. I don't think I can keep going with the Oscars if the fucking Barbie movie takes home anything.
What if you watch this movie and I get a text her going, dude, you gotta watch this, like the most transcendent movie. Like this movie changes your life.
That would be a twist, but we will see.
If
Next
they
up,
don't do the Barbie Girl song at any point, I'm counting points against it.
they're going to. They're going to. It's going to be on the radio, or at the very least, it's going to be in the fucking trailer.
Oh yeah, it is. Let's go, Barbie. Come on, Barbie.
There is a Michael Jackson biopic in early development, currently titled Michael. It's being made in cooperation with the Jackson estate, so don't expect any insight into his many scandals, particularly his multiple child sexual abuse allegations. If the estate's making it,
who you ask.
Yeah. Since the estate's behind this, it's going to be a pretty vanilla biopic. So, take from it what you will.
Yeah, I'm about to say honestly, like if you're one of those that is ardently like he didn't do it, it's probably gonna be the biography for you. If you're on the other side of it, probably won't be the biography for you if the estate's involved. So they're going to not want to include any of that. If they do, I'll be shocked at all.
They won't.
But they won't do it. I'm not going to express fucking how I stand on that whole goddamn thing here on the podcast. I just don't want to get into that because I didn't realize like it's something we always like talked about. It's weird, it's something that was always talked about, and it's become such a huge thing, especially with the social political climate of 2022. It's just kind of like it's almost become one of those things that divides people now, surprisingly. And I'm just like, I don't want to get into it with people on that. I'm just like, look, he did or he didn't, we don't know. He's dead. It's just the fact matters, he's dead. The one person that could definitely tell us if he did or not is fucking gone.
Yeah, it's hard waters to navigate, and we're not going to do it here.
Yeah. So on that level, saying that, I'm not surprised that he's getting a biography. I mean, he is the king of pop, for Christ's sakes. Like the guy, just looking at his career, he's an icon. He is truly like one of those iconic people. He's a status. He was such a loved musician, but like you get what I'm saying. Like there's a legend behind outside of outside of that shit. There is a music rise his career. There's a legend around Michael Jackson, 100%. So it only makes sense that we're getting this documentary for literally probably one of the most recognized and iconic musicians of all time. If anything, I'm surprised they took so long to make one.
Well, because his music and his career has been vastly overshadowed by this dark story just kind of lingering in the ether that can neither be proven or disproven. It's a weird limbo. And it's going to feel dishonest to make a movie about him without touching on that. But, it's like making a Frank Sinatra movie without talking about the mob, which, as long as the Sinatra estate is still there, that movie's never happening.
Yeah, it gets touchy with some of these biographies because obviously it's like sometimes like that's very much what they did, career-wise, professional-wise, right? But then, at the end of the day, they're human, right? These are human beings with personal lives, and sometimes there were scandals involved and stuff. And like I said, we don't truly know what the Michael Jackson thing. And yeah, I think it would be dishonest to not include it. But if the essays involved, do I understand why they want? Absolutely. I absolutely understand. It's hard. It is hard. Hopefully they can, because the essay is involved, approaching the music side of this, right, and what he stood for in that regard will shine through in the movie, because like I said, I stand by my comment of separate art from artists, and art-wise, what Michael Jackson did for pop and for a lot of people is important. It is absolutely important, regardless of what he was potentially doing in his private life.
Yeah. Well, if this movie comes about, I'm sure we'll touch on it down the road. Next, the unfortunate passing of visual effects pioneer Douglas Trumbull, who passed away at 79 years old. Trumbull was nominated for 3 Oscars for Best Visual Effects for the films 2001: A Space Odyssey, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and Blade Runner. He received a Special Scientific and Engineering Award in 1993 for developing the CP65 show scan camera system, and the Gordon E. Sawyer Award for technological contributions to film in 2012. Some of his other visual effects work includes The Andromeda Strain, The Tree of Life, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He didn't do a lot of films, but what this man did for visual effects in the 60s through the 80s is fucking beautiful. I mean, 2001 alone is such an iconic film because of its visual effects, because of its imagery, and Trumbull was at the forefront of that. Just a shame to see, a legend like this leave us.
Yeah, when I was reading this, so I was like, oh God, like I saw the name, I didn't like quite know. I was like, it sounds familiar. And I was reading it, I was like, God, this guy's doing a lot. So, he may not have been some big hotshot actor or director that everybody knows, right? But this was a guy that clearly left an impact on the industry. And stuff he was doing, like you said, with visual effects in the 60s, 70s, clearly left enough of an imprint to continue to be utilized to this day. And that can't be like taken away from him. That can't not be talked about. Like the guy left a mark. It's one thing to have your career, right, and to have your place in it, but to leave a mark like that where you like revolutionize something or people are using your standard that you created, that's a different level, and that's just a harder thing to achieve. And when you do, it's something to be talked about and something to be celebrated. And
yeah, well said. Guy was a legend. Guy was inspiration, I'm sure, to the visual effects people working today. And it's a damn shame we lost him.
Mhm.
Finally, we're going to end with the Oscar nominations. They were announced. 94th Academy Awards will be held on Sunday, March 27th. And odds are, if you are a movie fan and you're listening to this podcast, you know the Oscar nominations. You watched them. You know what they are. You're betting. But just in case you missed them.
Unless you're a film fan like me, just saying. All of us film fans are like.
Fine. Well, here they are. You're not taking this away from me. Best Picture: Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Did you get to see any of these?
No, because I didn't really care.
Okay.
For a good chunk. I did actually want to see Don't Look Up, and it kept slipping past me. Yeah, West Side Story I could give a shit less about. That sure got fucking taken out as far as I'm concerned, and Pig should have been goddamn put in there. Not a goddamn remake of a film from the fucking 50s.
60s, but okay.
60s, whatever.
It matters.
I think it's because the film takes place in the 50s. I assume it's a 50s film.
Takes place in the 60s, 1961.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Best Director: Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, and Steven Spielberg for West Side Story. All right, I'm gonna do predictions here because clearly this is a one-sided conversation. Best Picture, I believe, should go to Belfast. Best Director, I believe, should go to Kenneth Branagh for Belfast. It's his time.
Okay. I'm very happy with your picks.
Best Actress: Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman, Being the Ricardos, Kristen Stewart, Spencer. Academy Award nominee Kristen Stewart. That is a valid phrase now.
She did it. She got her goddamn Academy Award nomination, at least.
The fact that she got nominated before Pattinson did is kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, but Pattinson I would argue he has a more successful career than she does.
Oh, so he's about to be Batman. So yes.
Like, I mean, The Lighthouse before that, like, that was a decent sized hit. People know about that movie for Christ's sakes. And yeah, now he's playing Batman. Like, he's fine.
Well, I think it sucks that Lady Gaga got shut out for House of Gucci.
I have my buddy, my college buddy. He was unhappy about that. He's like, how dare they pluck out Lady Gaga? He was not happy about it. So I get it. Like, I've at least seen A Star Is Born. I've seen the American Horror Story season she was on. She's a wonderful actress. I would never have thought like Lady Gaga could be such a fucking powerhouse of an actress.
No.
So it really surprises me that like she got snubbed this year.
Well, of this bunch, honestly, Kristen Stewart, I've heard, is the front runner. And I saw Spencer, and I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think she was that great, so I don't like that.
Well, it sounds like she's about to be Academy Award winner, Kristen Stewart. Let that sink in, buddy.
Personally, I think it should go to Jessica Chastain. She was amazing in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I've not yet seen A Lost Daughter or Parallel Mothers, and frankly, Nicole Kidman shouldn't be here either. Yeah.
Jessica Chastain's not all I got.
Okay. Best actor, Javier Bardem being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield, Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith, King Richard, Denzel Washington, The Tragedy of Macbeth. That's a powerhouse group of actors, and I really want this to go to Andrew Garfield. He was amazing in Tick, Tick, Boom.
I like Andrew Garfield. I support.
No. From what I hear, the front runner is Will Smith, which is okay. I mean, he was good in King Richard, but wasn't a groundbreaking performance.
I kind of figured. I think it was you. I think it was you. I was texting. I was like, I think you asked me, and I was like, it's probably gonna be Will Smith, knowing how they are.
I don't know if it was me, because I don't think I ever text you about the Oscars.
Someone texted me because they were like, I really want Andrew Garfield to win. I was like, he won't. They're like, why do you say that? I was like, because you just said Will Smith. I was like, we know how the Oscars work. They're going to. It's bureaucracy more than actual like look. Sometimes I'm like, Will Smith's probably gonna get it. I'm calling it now.
Well, we'll see. Best Supporting Actress, Jessie Buckley, The Lost Daughter, Ariana DeBose, West Side Story, Judi Dench, Belfast, Kirsten Dunst, The Power of the Dog, and Ingenue Ellis, King Richard. Academy Award nominee Kirsten Dunst, another phrase I never thought I'd say. Yeah, you know what? I don't really I got nothing yet. I haven't seen The Lost Daughter. And I didn't finish The Power of the Dog. So I got to go back and do that, and then I'll judge this. Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Hines, Belfast, Troy Kotzer, Coda, Jesse Plemons, The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons being the Ricardos, Cody Smith McPhee, The Power of the Dog. Cool to see J.K. Simmons nab another nomination. His performance in Being the Ricardos was fucking hilarious. But I think this should go to Troy Kotzer for Coda. Coda was such an endearing film. It was a beautiful movie. I'm glad it's getting attention here, and he was really good.
I haven't seen any of these films, so
I know. Best costume design, Cruella, Cyrano, Dune, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. Probably Cruella is going to take this. It's a movie about fashion. I mean, that's a kind of a gimme.
Yeah, it is. And to its credit, the fashion scene, like it stood out.
Yeah. Best sound, Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story. Best sound, give that to Dune.
Okay. I personally thought Dune was terrible, but
all right, but you got to admit, technically, it's a fucking marvel.
Technically, yeah, it's a good movie. It's all the stuff I care more about though that I didn't like.
We're talking about technical awards right now. Best sound, it counts. God damn it. Best original score, Don't Look Up by Nicholas Britell, Dune by Hans Zimmer, Encanto by Jermaine Franco, Parallel Mothers by Alberto Iglesias, and The Power of the Dog by Johnny Greenwood. Another one I want to go to Dune, but we'll probably go to Encanto.
I was supposed to say Disney's going to nab that one.
Yeah, probably. Best adapted screenplay, Coda by Cian Heater, Drive My Car by Ryosuke Hamaguchi and Takamasa Oi, Dune by John Spates, Denis Villeneuve, and Eric Roth, The Lost Daughter by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and The Power of the Dog by Jane Campion. give this to Coda, but I've heard The Lost Daughter is really good. So it'd be cool if Maggie Gyllenhaal swept up a screenplay win. So, original screenplay: Belfast by Kenneth Branagh, Don't Look Up by Adam McKay, King Richard by Zach Balin, Licorice Pizza by Paul Thomas Anderson, and The Worst Person in the World by Axel Vogt and Joachim Trier. Give this to Paul Thomas Anderson. It's his time. Licorice Pizza was such a great screenplay.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I actually like P.T. Anderson, but I haven't seen Licorice Pizza.
Animated short and live action short, I'm going to skip because I didn't see any of those. I never do. Best film editing: Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, Tick, Tick, Boom. Film editing. I'm going to give this to Don't Look Up.
Good choice.
Yeah. Best makeup and hairstyling: Coming to America. Unbelievable. Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and House of Gucci. The only nomination this film got.
That's weird, but okay.
I know. Makeup: Dune will probably take this for Stellan Skarsgård's character.
Yeah, I'm going for it. Like, that was a really good job.
Yeah. Animated film: Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Encanto is pretty much a lock here, but
I would say, honestly, Encanto or Raya.
I would love if The Mitchells versus the Machines took this away.
I feel like that's what people want. It's probably the one that deserves it, but because Disney's on there literally twice, it's going to be Disney versus Disney.
Disney's on here 3 times because Luca is one of theirs too.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, it's going to be Disney versus... But I don't think Luca's even going to get remotely close to fighting between the other two that I can't remember the fucking names all of a sudden. Encanto and
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yeah, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Documentary: Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, and Writing with Fire. Haven't seen any of these, but I'm going to try. Best original song: Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, No Time to Die from No Time to Die, and Somehow You Do from 4 Good Days. If Billie Eilish doesn't win this Oscar, I'm going to riot. I want a hat trick for the Bond film. Skyfall took it. Spectre took it. No Time to Die needs to take it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to.
I mean, it could. They might be feeling sappy because it's the final day of Craig one. So,
yeah, it's also a very good song.
Yeah, it is. I actually did I like that one a lot.
Cinematography: Dune by Grieg Fraser, Nightmare Alley, Dan Laustsen, The Power of the Dog, Ari Wegner, The Tragedy of Macbeth, Bruno Del Bonnell, West Side Story, Janusz Kaminski. Cinematography 100% should go to The Tragedy of Macbeth. That movie is filmed so intensely and beautifully. Please do the right thing, Academy.
Nightmare Alley.
Okay. I don't take your votes into consideration at all because you didn't watch any of these fucking movies.
I only need to see Nightmare Alley. Everything else was like dog shit.
Best international film: Drive My Car from Japan, Flea from Denmark, The Hand of God from Italy, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom from Bhutan, and The Worst Person in the World from Norway. From what I hear, Drive My Car is the film to beat. It broke into Best Picture, got a nomination. I've never heard of this film, and now I need to watch it. Production design: Dune, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, West Side Story. Production design should probably go to Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, it should. The movie was like detailed as fuck on that.
Yes, it was. But a close second's probably Dune. I'm not sure how much of that film was real and CGI, but I'm pretty sure the sets were real.
I think so.
So yeah, well done. Visual effects. This is the coolest category, I think. Dune, Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah, this was the only one I cared about.
Yeah. I want this to go to Spider-Man just because I want Spider-Man to win something, but knowing the Academy, Dune's probably going to take this.
Yeah, that's probably not say it. I would actually have said Free Guy. The fact that they have to do like a whole video game award and it looked fucking good.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to go to Dune. I don't think Dune's visual effects are the most amazing thing I've fucking seen.
Yeah, I understand. Well, there it is. Those are the Oscar nominations. So thank you for suffering through that.
You really sucked this week.
Before we get into Death on the Nile, Caleb, why don't you tell us about Shudder's latest release, All the Moons? So I get to suffer for a little bit.
Look, just because you don't want to watch good films on Shudder, that's your problem. So All the Moons is a foreign film. I want to say Spanish. I'll look it up later. About a girl that is facing death and she gets saved by a vampire. Gives her more eternal life, and then through a series of events, they get separated. She ends up finding this human man that she lives with, and kind of like regain, like, gets a better picture on humanity again, and realizes she doesn't want to be doesn't want to be a vampire anymore. And it kind of goes from there. It wasn't terrible. I would say it's much more drama than horror, like way more drama than horror. Like the vampire story is definitely like a big part of what makes it horror, but it's not its most big thing. It's mostly focusing on her regaining humanity and realizing that she doesn't want this life of being a vampire. It's definitely, oddly enough, kind of like for you horror living couples out there, probably not the worst Valentine's Day pick if you're looking for something outside the box, because of its themes are pretty much like on kind of par with that. I ultimately gave it a 7 because there were quite times I was like looking at my phone because, like, again, kind of like with Slap Face I mentioned last week, a pacing thing where, like, it kind of leans to trauma more than horror, causes it to have kind of a slow pace that didn't always reel me in. And then it would do this thing where it would change the story. So it'd, like, you'd be thinking like, okay, this is how the story's gonna go, and they change it. 9 times out of 10 it was a good thing to do because it kept you on the kind of like your toes about where this fucking movie was going. But then it got to the kind of like the point of this evil priest is like, call the men, like, we gotta get them involved and make sure he doesn't leave town or whatever. And then it never follows up on that, like, at all. Like, I remember saying, going, what are the men he speaks of? Like, are we not going back to that? So it does that occasionally, which gets on my nerves when films do that. Just kind of drop fucking plot lines out of nowhere. But overall, I haven't read my review yet just because of this day. I was saying I was going to do it after this episode, but like, I'm fucking tired, so I'll probably just go to bed as soon as we get done. But I will probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's not terrible, not the worst thing ever, but do know you're going into more of a trauma than horror, and very much, slow paced, slow burn type of film.
Doesn't sound like I'm missing anything from Shudder this year so far.
Not this year. I've gotten hints at what is coming out next month. One I'm looking forward to big time. I think I know you watched it, but like Ralph Bakshi, like Wizards and stuff like heavy metal and stuff. They have a movie heavily inspired by that card, The Spine of Night, finally premieres on their next month, and that one I'm really looking forward to. That one's been high on my radar. I've heard a lot of good things about that one. They're not Shudder exclusives, but just for the fans, I'll do a quick little plug here while we're talking about Shudder, because they made some pretty awesome announcements in the past 2 days. First, for if you're having a weird craving for a French horror extremity fix again, Shudder is uploading a shit ton of movies like Frontiers and Inside. Yeah, the one where she wants the pregnant woman's baby on Christmas, and things get amazingly graphic. That's been one I've been trying to see, I haven't seen yet. But the big thing that took, the guys who directed Inside, they had their follow-up was called Livid. It was released in, their native country in Europe. Weinstein's, back when Dimension was a company, dragged their ass getting it a North American release because they were determined to just do an American remake instead, because God bless you, just released a fucking original horror movie. So it came out in 2011, has not received a fucking US release. Shudder worked some kind of magic. On March 1st, it gets its first ever streaming American release, so we can finally see this fucking movie that I've heard so much about for now 11 years. So that's really so. Next month is hitting big on there. They also unveiled a bunch of show confirmations. So Creep Show season 4 has been finally announced for sure happening. Cursed Film season 2 got announced. A new season of Slasher, just like they did with their horror noir, the documentary on Black representation in horror. For a while there, they were talking about doing one on gay representation that just never apparently came to fruition. They finally announced with Brian Fuller that they're doing a 4-part limited series called Queer for Fear, and it's going to explore queer representation in horror. So, yeah, it's it's been kind of a slow past few months with Shudder releases, but they are processing some good stuff, film and TV wise ahead.
Cool. For those of you who don't know, Shudder is a horror exclusive streaming service that you can get for $5 a month, and they get all sorts of weird shit. It's worth it.
Yeah, like a lot of these films I'm pointing out, Shudder does they have what they call Shudder original films, and really it's like stuff they are paying attention to, like all the various festivals, like Berlin, South by Southwest, all these festivals like in a non-COVID world, right, happen, and they acquire to get them on the site so more people can see it. And so that's what I've been watching is the films they acquire, and they release usually a new one every Thursday. I've noticed like Thursday is every Thursday of the month a new one comes out. But like I said, it's only February, so like it hasn't bothered me that like the film output hasn't been oh my god amazing. It's February, so I'm sure there's some really good shit just waiting around the corner.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll check some of that out. Death on the Nile. So this was supposed to come out in 2019. The first film, Murder on the Orient Express, came out in 2017. So we're talking a 5-year gap, which caused a lot of interest to dwindle. You had that. You had COVID, obviously. You had early production issues. You had the Armie Hammer sexual assault allegations. You had the Letitia Wright anti-vax controversy. And just that shitstorm pushed this film 3 years into the future. And here we are. We finally have it, and nobody seems to give a fuck. This is bombing hard at the box office.
Is it really?
Yeah, people are seeing it because it's all that's there in terms of new stuff, but it's not doing well.
So you're saying Jackass will have another successful weekend?
Yes, I am. Jackass has defeated Roland Emmerich and Kenneth Branagh. What crazy dystopian future have we found ourselves a part of?
A film where Knoxville achieves its lifelong goal of getting a fart ignited underwater is beating Roland Emmerich, who is the king of disaster porn and a well-respected director, and Kenneth Branagh.
Did you ever seen Idiocracy?
Oh yeah.
Remember when Luke Wilson wanders into a movie theater and finds that the highest grossing film of all time is a movie called Ass? That's just a butt randomly farting on a screen. It wins like 6 Oscars, $500 million box office.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in that world sometimes.
Oh, it's coming.
So Death on the Nile is based on the Agatha Christie novel of the same name. Agatha Christie is, I read somewhere that she's the best-selling novelist of all time.
Yeah, somehow.
Because she's a good writer. Her stories are interesting. I'm sorry that British murder does not quite work for you, but it works for a lot of other people.
I have nothing against British murder. I love Sherlock Holmes to death. I don't like this. I don't understand why people love her so much.
Because she's a damn good writer.
She's terrible.
No, the movies based on her work are terrible. Have you read any Agatha Christie?
Yeah, no, I haven't, because it sounds.
Then how do you know her work's terrible?
Because I have seen the adaptations and I'm good. I'm solid.
If you were to tell me that Stephen King's a terrible writer and the evidence you use is like, the Carrie remake and like a couple of TV movies, I'd say you were full of shit.
That sounds legit to me.
You don't debate, right? So Death
It's
on the
made in a
Nile.
way that exasperates and gets them to stop.
It's infuriating, and I want to strangle you through this fucking screen.
You know, so I do it.
I don't even like the movie that much. I just feel like you're making a shit argument.
I know that's why I do it. Oh, it's fun.
Not fun. I'm tired too.
Honestly, I've been moving around, so I don't fucking. That's why I don't know if you've seen me like kind of like moving around and seem like jittery. It's literally so I don't fall asleep.
I was wondering why you were shadowboxing over there. So Kenneth Branagh plays Hercule Poirot, famous detective from Agatha Christie's stories. This time on vacation in Egypt, happens upon a murder. Supporting cast includes Tom Bateman, Annette Bening, Russell Brand, Ali Faisal, Dawn French, Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer, Rose Leslie, Emma Mackey, Sophie Okonedo, Jennifer Saunders, and Letitia Wright. Really good cast in 2019. 2022, incredibly controversial cast. And is really holding this back, I think. I think a lot of the box office comes from, I heard Armie Hammer's a rapist. I don't want to see his movie.
Yeah, I heard the teacher right. Anti-vax conspiracy nut. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. It's so why don't we dig into that a bit? Armie Hammer was an A-lister 3 years ago, and this is the first time anyone's seen him in a long time. And it's not like they could cut him out. He's a significant part of this film. You lose him, you lose the conflict. So here's what happened, allegedly. Armie Hammer, currently under investigation by the LAPD for accusations of rape. His ex-girlfriend accused him of rape and physical abuse throughout their 4-year on and off relationship. And not only that, but there's also this speculation that he might be into some really, really freaky, kinky shit involving manipulation, psychological abuse, and cannibalism.
I was like, that ain't kinky. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
This is like, as Dan says, it's okay to kink shame right now.
Well, apparently Armie Hammer's family comes from money. Like he's big money. There's a lot of dysfunction and some sexual sadism in his family history. So he might be, he might have been raised in an environment where weird sexual shit was the norm, and it's kind of gone public for him. I don't know how much that's accurate. That might be, conspiracy theory, he eats kids bullshit, but the rape allegations are looking pretty serious. So he's gone. All involvement, all productions he's been a part of, he's been forced out of. Death on the Nile got put on hold because of it. They finally released it because they're like, well, what else are we going to do with it? And here we are. Probably the last time we're going to see Armie Hammer on the big screen, unless you want to watch The Lone Ranger again.
Or The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was this close to being in Batman.
Yeah, I heard it was like one of the biggest front runners. And I could, before all this came out, I was like, I can see that, honestly.
No, he was cast, but the movie fell apart in like 2011.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. I do think, and there's other reasons I think this film's not going to be bombing at the box office that we'll get into when we talk about the film itself. I do actually think that he is one of the reasons, though, in the sense that, like, in an odd way, it's like I think we've gotten desensitized to the amount of like rape allegations that are happening in Hollywood, because it seems like this is a new one every week. But in this case, like, it's looking like it's very much like, yeah, this guy's a fucking monster type of deal. Like, that's what this one's shaping out to be. So there's that, and then I think the other big thing is 100% the cannibalism. I think obviously that's going to be like, wait a minute. He likes to
imagine he's eating his partner in the not fun way. And
he's not eating out the pussy.
No, he's eating out the rest.
Or literally eating out the vagina.
this is so weird. Like that this is a thing, that there's a possibility that Armie Hammer is a fucking cannibal, rapist, psychopath. This is not crazy to say that. Jesus.
No, yeah, it's weird. And I can see, like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was hugely distracting for me, but it's like, it was there. I remember watching it going, like, this is kind of weird seeing him in this movie. I can't imagine, like, people, like, who really have that on their mind and they're watching this, like, this feels weird. Why is he in this? Why is he playing such a love interest if apparently he wants to do more than just vanilla sex?
The weird part is, like, he's a hyper sexualized character too. Like, he is like aggressively groping Emma Mackey and Gal Gadot in this movie.
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah. So that's a big part of why this film isn't doing so well. And, you know, it's a niche crowd. You know, British murder mysteries have their crowd, but it's not big here. Murder on the Orient Express did okay, I think, enough to warrant a sequel. Critics weren't really friendly to it. It was better than this one, I thought.
I would take Murder over this one.
Yeah. So apart from that, we have this anti-vaccination controversy with Letitia Wright, who is being groomed, or was being groomed, I don't know the status now, to replace Chadwick Boseman as the face of the Black Panther series in the MCU. Until she refused to get vaccinated due to, you know, whatever the fuck her beliefs are. And production halted on Black Panther 2 for various reasons. And now they're looking at alternatives, last I heard. Incredibly stupid of her to throw away such an important career milestone, if that is indeed what's going on. I don't understand these anti-vaxxers. I mean, it's fine. There's no, I've gotten the vaccine. Everyone I know has gotten the vaccine. There's been no serious side effects. Everybody's doing fine. Just stop acting like you're a victim.
I'm at a point, man, where, like, look, this is how I feel. If you have a legit medical, like a legit reason you can't get vaccinated, like I know those who have like potential medical issues, like they can't do it, or I know a lot of like women that are pregnant or hesitant because they don't, you know, obviously the tests aren't conclusive on how it affects pregnancies because it just hasn't been around long enough to prove that, and that's just facts, right? But if you're one of those that, like, yeah, you're sitting there and like, so they can microchip you, South government gets you, I'm like, okay, you're a fucking idiot. Just go get vaccinated. Like,
you're the reason we're in year 3 of this hellhole. So, yeah. Letitia Wright seems to be one of these people. So her presence is now controversial. It's a damn shame. And I don't know if Marvel's going to boot her, because then who the hell is going to be the Black Panther? Like, they're running out of people.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, who the fuck are you going to get to finish this movie at this point? Like, this is getting ridiculous.
I mean, it's got to be Winston Duke, right?
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, he'd be a badass Black Panther. I don't know. Black Panther 2 was already looking uncertain with Chadwick Boseman's death, and now it's like, what in the fuck is this even going to be?
I don't know anymore. Like,
well, Death in the Nile. I don't think we'll spend too much time talking about this one. So anything you want to spotlight as like any kind of positive? Anything?
Performances were good. What they had.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's it. That's all I got.
I do want to just point out my history with Agatha Christie real quick. Why I'm so quick to defend her. I read And Then There Were None in 8th grade and thought it was one of the most brilliant murder mysteries I've ever read. Despite the controversy surrounding the title of the book, it wasn't always called And Then There Were None. It was originally called 10 Little Indians. And before that, it was called 10 Little N-Words. So,
my Lord.
Yeah, this book has a dark history. I found a original print of the 10 Little Indians version, and I bought it because I'm like, ooh, historical. But it's a great book. Bunch of 10 strangers are summoned to an island, and by a mysterious host named UN Owen, unknown. Get it? And this mysterious host leaves behind a record player where he basically says he accuses each one of these 10 people of murder and says, you are responsible for this person's death. And they all realize they've been summoned here to be killed by a vigilante who's going to punish them for their sins. And it is a super tense thriller. Very well. I've seen a couple of versions of this on screen. It's very well acted, very tense. And the ending is like, what? That's the killer? Holy shit. So definitely a good one. It's not a Poirot. It's just 10 strangers who are responsible for a murder. It's very quick and easy and really good. But that's all I've read of hers. I've also played the point and click adventure game versions of And Then There Were None and Murder on the Orient Express. And those are really fun.
Yes, I should probably give my quick history on why I'm not quick to defend Agatha Christie.
Sure.
So growing up, my mom watched the British show they did, Agatha Christie's Poirot. I despised it with a fucking passion. I thought it was boring, dull, just... it would put me to... I could be wide awake and it would put me to sleep. I did not like it at all. Character Poirot never, interested
Why'd you watch
me.
it? Why'd you keep watching it?
She put it on.
Leave the room. Go watch something else.
That wasn't always an option.
Okay.
Point being is, I hated that show with a passion. I thought when they were doing the trailer lead up, they're promoting for Murder on the Orient Express. Like, you know what? I'll give it a second chance. I'm older now. Maybe I'll like him all and I'll get it. I thought that whole movie pretty much bored. I'm sitting there going, no, there's just something about this that just does nothing for me. And I remember when they were doing this finally coming out, I was like, God, please come out on a weekend that there's something else big, so I don't have to do this for the podcast. And they were like, nope, this is literally the biggest thing coming out this weekend. I'm like, fuck. And so I went in, and by the end of this movie, I was like, no, my feelings stand. I'm done trying to give this character a chance. This is not for me. So I'm coming at this as someone who has tried numerous times. It's just not clicking for me.
Well, that's unfortunate. Because there's some really good stories in her repertoire, what I hear. My grandma has watched all of the Poirot show and she loves it to death. She's the biggest Agatha Christie fan I've ever known. So as I said, the Poirot's on vacation in Egypt, is invited to the wedding of a young heiress who is marrying her friend's former fiance, which was a good twist of like, oh shit. And on the spoiler alert, on the boat, the Karnak, which is like their honeymoon ship, Gal Gadot, the heiress, is shot in the head. And who done it? It's pretty goddamn obvious who done it from the beginning.
I was about to say, so first I was already annoyed that it took an hour in a 2-hour murder mystery film to get to the fucking central murder and solve the mystery. I was just sitting there going, dude, you could have trimmed so much of this. I don't need an hour of no murder in a fucking murder mystery movie.
Didn't you want to know why Poirot grew his spruce mustache?
God, no. God, no. I hated... once I realized that that's all that scene was there for, I was like, you could have fucking excised this whole opening, you fucks. And then when it did get to the murder mystery, this film zipped through it. I remember when you get to the part where he's gets everyone in the room and they're talking about all their stuff. He's telling oh, this is who did this, blah blah blah. The reveals are coming. I legit was sitting there oh, we're doing reveals already in this movie. But I was like, it's already been an hour. I was like, okay. So this film first off had the worst pacing problems, and then like you said, when I was watching it, I remember sitting in the theater going, okay, so it's going to be this person and this person. I was half right. I got one half right, and because I was so kind of at that point bored and out of it, I didn't bother to change my answers to the other obvious killer. And So I got it like half wrong, but I guessed it half right at the very beginning, which really took out the suspension tension part of the mystery for me.
Well, it's just so. I didn't call. All right, spoiler alert. I didn't call the Army Hammer reveal. I
See,
didn't realize it was the.
I called the Army Hammer one. I didn't call her whatever the fuck his his dumb lady's name was.
Yeah, I. It was so obvious it was her from the start. Like she clearly hated her. She's clearly not supposed to be here. She brought the gun. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think, like I said, for some reason in my head it went Hammer and Russell Brand, and I never bothered to change it. Like at any point, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stick to it and keep this moving along so I can get through this damn movie. And then when they revealed it, I was like, I should have guessed that. I was like, it was pretty obvious. Now that, yep, okay, I'm an idiot. And that's the thing, right? Even though I didn't guess it, I'm so pissed because I sat there and started going, oh my God, wow, they really got me. No, I went there going, oh yeah, it's obvious. Like that shouldn't be a thing in a murder mystery movie. I shouldn't be sitting there going, oh yeah, that was obvious. Why am I should have been like, holy shit, it was what? And I didn't have that response.
Yeah, neither did I. I haven't read the book Death on the Nile or seen the original movie, so I don't know if that's like the original choice. I don't know if that's like it was that painfully obvious in the originals, but I'll find out one day. I did like the emphasis on his friendship with Book and how his friend was killed and how Poirot kind of goes off the edge with that. That was a nice glimpse into the character's humanity. I like that. Didn't quite understand why Letitia Wright's character hated him so much. Like
that was bugging me. Like when he, when it's revealed that he was actually in a little like case on Book, and he gives his analysis of Letitia Wright's character, but he says nothing but positive things, and basically like, yeah, don't listen to your mom, marry her, like you're perfect for each other. And she gets mad at him. I'm like, he literally just defended you in front of his mom. Like, why are you getting so pissed at him? Like, your emotion does not make any sense.
Seemed awfully forced. I'm wondering. I don't think we're gonna get a third movie. If we were, it would probably be Evil Under the Sun, which I also had a point-click adventure game of, but it froze up and I lost it. Never got to finish the game, so I don't know how that went. But yeah, I gave it a 7. Go see it if you want to see it. It's not a terrible movie. It's just predictable and kind of dull. The characters don't stand out as much as they did in Murder on the Orient Express. Everyone's kind of interchangeable. A lot of people are just kind of thrown to the side to focus on various other characters, which is unfortunate. And then there's a lot of unnecessary subplots about Poirot's personal life that I don't think were in the book and don't really add to the movie.
No, yeah, no. So I was like, there's no. I put it on my review. I gave it a 5. If anyone's wondering, I was really like just bored to tears. But like that was another thing for me that was not good was the characters in the sense that like and this is why I say it was wrong. The actors were fine. They weren't the issue. It was the simple fact that like the characters were ran so forgettably. Like half of them I would forget are in the movie because they just kind of disappear into the background. It was like, and whereas more on the Orient Express, I felt like all the characters had very unique personalities and they all stood out. So you remembered, but not in this one.
Yeah. Well, them's the breaks. Anything else you want to point out about Death on the Nile? I thought there was going to be much more to talk about with this film.
No, I just more of a personal thing. Like I'm actively going to be done with Agatha Christie and her crew Poirot. Like this is just not a character that's clicked with me at all. This film just emphasizes it more with its strange fucking first hour and then second hour. Yeah, if you're a Poirot fan, by me checking it out. But if not, you're fine not seeing this one. You really or not. You're fine.
Okay. Well, sorry for the fairly dull episode. Not our fault. The movies are what the movies are. We don't pick the movies on this show. They,
it's a dual movie, and I'm pretty like dead tired. So we're recording this late, and I had to be up early to grab Josh. So I'm trying to make it through this one right now.
Cool. Well, let's end this bitch. Thanks for listening, everybody. Feel free to follow us on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. You can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com to send us recommendations or feedback. You can also check out the website, filmgazm.com, or support us through your podcast provider. We appreciate it. Next week is Fully Loaded. In theaters, we get the highly anticipated video game movie Uncharted, as well as the Channing Tatum comedy Dog. On Netflix, we get the long-awaited requel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is inspiring the entire week of shows we got planned. On Wednesday's Filmgazm, we're going to be discussing the 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And on Friday's Beyond the Bad, we're digging into 1995's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. On Oscar Sunday, it's a Best Picture showdown on 12 Years a Slave, but that's only because there's yet to be a Texas Chainsaw film that's gotten the Academy's attention. Maybe one day.
Probably won't, but my vote is Matthew McConaughey yelling "Moo fucking moo" in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: Next Generation. God, I can't wait to at least get entertained by his performance again on that movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a movie that him and Zellweger have both tried vehemently to distance himself from to no avail.
I will say this: Zellweger is kind of boring in the movie, but McConaughey, oh my God, he is awesome. He gives like his 110%, and it's beautiful.
Wonderful. And then I am excited to revisit the remake on Filmgazm. That's a film I haven't seen in a very long time, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I fucking love the remake, so I'm looking forward to watching it tomorrow before I hunker down and watch the Joe Bob special finally be uploaded on Shudder tomorrow. His Valentine's Day special, he showed Black Roses and Frankenhooker apparently.
Yeah.
So I'm going to knock this remake out so I can sit down and enjoy those.
Real quick, you know what really pissed me off? Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, and Bordello of Blood are now on Shudder.
Yep, they literally did it this month, and I was like, God damn it.
That keeps happening to us. It's really bugging me.
Yeah, I'm hoping. So far, the only time it doesn't is when I do Beyond the Bad episode, because we usually pick movies that they're not rushing to put on streaming services. So I'm like,
that's true. Well, that's all, everybody. Have a great week. And we promise next week we will be way more energized and have something to really say. So, yeah, don't miss next week.
Yeah, sorry, it's been a rough week for me in general, so I apologize.
Yeah, keep watching movies, but movies you want to see. That's a big part of it.